I did the best I could alone.
This defense did little to shield Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola from Parliament's grilling. Lawmakers wanted answers about his decision-making in the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team, a move he admits crippled investigations into drug cartels and politically linked murders in KwaZulu-Natal. Masemola told the temporary structure that he made several attempts to engage the minister, who simply shut the door in his face and insisted the unit be dismantled.
He can't insist, he can't tell you what to do. You're the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. There's no one above you and he's not above you.
He's a Minister of Police, he's above me.
Not in the hierarchy of the South African Police Service, General, and you and I both know that. You call the shots in the South African Police Service, not the minister. And if he tries, you should tell him to go to hell. Why didn't you?
Yeah, well, I didn't tell them that, and I take him as Minister of Police, and I told him in a nice way that let's not do this thing, and he kept insisting, no, we do it.
So when you told him in a nice way and he didn't go away, why didn't you tell him in a less nice way?
Yeah.
That's not an answer. General, you're the National Commissioner. You're the head honcho. You're the boss, not him. Why didn't you tell him that? Tell him to mind your own business and go do your own job.
Yes, I'm the National Commissioner, but I'm subject to his directions.
Do you consider him to be your boss?
Yes, I consider him, yes, to be
your boss.
My supervisor, yes.
The National Commissioner of the South African Police Service thinks the minister is his boss. Wow.
But MPs insisted that the buck stopped with him.
The crime scene is in Pretoria. The dockets are taken to Pretoria. The letters are being written in Pretoria. Some of these implicated people are in Pretoria. You wait for a general from KZN to come and ask for an affidavit from you instead of you registering or opening a case in Pretoria as a top cop, because these things are happening at the head office, not necessarily in KZN. KZN and General Mkhwanazi tells us that he only comes in when they started touching PKTT. So, meaning these people have been running wrong things there in the head office. And General, you don't open a case until General Mkhwanazi comes. What informs that?
Honorable Chair, the opening of the case, we only opened the case after we realized what is happening. Even him, he didn't open a case before because we didn't know what was happening. After we realized what is happening, then we wrote that's when I appended my affidavit, and we look as to where will this be, and we said, well, the team is in KZN, and we registered the case there in KZN. It didn't make a difference, but we said the scene is there where it happened, but yeah, that's how we arrived at it.
No, General, all of us agree that everything happened after you discovered there is a rot. There's something going on which is wrong. You should accept that you did not act in a responsible manner as a national commissioner after you discovered that there was something wrong. If General Mkhwanazi can open a case, you too had a duty to open a case. Actually, it was supposed to be you, not even General Mkhwanazi, because your deputy in Pretoria is the one who issues illegal instruction. Your minister in Pretoria is the one who issues illegal directives and to deal with the people of KZN. So the crime scene is in Pretoria. That's where it's being operated from. It's not being operated in KZN. It's being operated from the head office. As a national commissioner, you ought to take responsibility.
The body also took issue with Masemola's apparent loose grip on power. This after he told the committee that his Deputy for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, went ahead and issued instructions that the 121 dockets under the PKTT be relinquished and sent to head office in Pretoria, despite Masemola's clear instruction for a phase-out approach of the PKTT.
Do you not take that as defiance?
I did call him to say he must stop doing that which he was doing, yes. Hence, I eventually end up taking steps.
Okay, what steps did you take? Because the only steps we know were taken were after the 6th of July. What steps were taken from January when you were defied by your junior?
When I became aware of those letters, I did call him in to say, I did say, leave the matter to me, I'm attending to it. So I did rebuke him for that.
But he defied to give the matter to you, General. That's what I'm saying. And after that defiance, what steps were taken by the principal in disciplining or effecting consequence management to his junior? Because all we know now, all what is in our disposal, is that General Sibiya, your deputy, was only suspended or taken to leave after the 6th of July, which is the press briefing by General Mchunu. So between January and July, you were defied blatantly by your junior. What did you do about that?
The country's top cop was accused of collapsing in the face of political pressure, while communities continue to suffer under the grip of drugs and violence.
The ANC minister wanted to put a stop to investigations pertaining to a drug cartel that has captured our country. Is that correct?
No, Honorable Chair, it's not
Sir,
the Minister of the ANC, it's the Minister of Police in the Republic of South Africa.
deployed by the ANC.
Well, that, yes.
We need to identify where these people come from. We need to identify where it comes from, where the rot comes from. We can't be footing. Our children are dying. Yesterday, a 4-year-old child died in Mitchell's Plain. Monday, a boy was kicking his grandmother's head around because of drugs. Tuesday, a boy was stopping his mother with a shovel because of drugs. We need to understand who are the enablers that's doing this. We're not here to play games. These people are ANC aligned. It's been going on for 2 years. You and I know each other for over 10 years. We have to rot them out, and we must name them. So don't come here, NC. I have great respect for you and speak about winding down and say that you are beyond reproach. You did not protect South Africans. You exposed us to drug cartels.
Masemola, together with KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, appeared before Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March in a move they claim was to raise the alarm and accuse the oversight body of inaction. However, the committee's chairperson did not take the accusation lightly.
I want to put it to you that, I hate saying that, it sounds like Harry now. Let me rather just say, I want to mention to you that the team, in my opinion, misled the Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March. And I'm going to share with you why, and why I believe it's factually correct. I mentioned Major General Van Rooyen that told the Madlanga Commission that the Police Portfolio Committee failed in its duty, but that same committee, the Police Committee, relied entirely on the information that you and SAPS provided, correct?
Yeah, well, as I said, Honorable Chair, we briefed the Portfolio Committee on what you requested.
Spot on. So you're answering my question for me. How is it then fair that your department, whether yourself, anyone else, or a senior officer from legal services, to publicly accuse the Police Committee of failure when it was SAPS that withheld specific information? Whether it was deliberate or not, it doesn't matter. The point is it wasn't indicated.
Well, I never listened to General Van Rooyen when he was doing that. Yeah, I'm sure we can go to the records and look at that and take it from there.
General, you can go to the records. I base this on the records, so I'm sitting with it here in front of me. And I say it specifically because Parliament and the Police Portfolio Committee will not be the scapegoat of things that wasn't disclosed by the officers in that meeting on that day. The mention of Brown Magotsi that Minister Mchunu later on denied he didn't know was immediately, and I'm not going to go into detail about the cases, but there are 2 MPs that I know of that laid criminal charges for him misleading. And that was the only bit of information that Parliament or parliamentarians could act on. So across the board, all the parties represented in that committee, that was the only bit of information. Nothing about Kat Mutlala was mentioned that day. Nothing about judicial capture was mentioned. Nothing about a drug cartel was mentioned in any part of that meeting.
Despite this and the factions in the police service, Masemola told the 11-member body that he still hoped the police service could rise above its difficulties and insists that senior management is not folding its arms. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Zoleka Qodashe in Parliament, Cape Town.
The venue is this one.